Seeds of despair. The radical ideas of relativism often influence the tragic events of the persistent loss of our youths. And once they become victims, we consider them enemies of the state that must go down. Those are our children, for crying out loud. How many of them will we continue to lose like that before we realize that the absence of honesty and perfect love only amplifies victimhood? Let us take, for instance, the actions of Thomas Matthew Crooks on July 13, 2024. In attempting to assassinate former President Donald Trump and tragically ending the life of Corey Comperatore, a 50-year-old volunteer firefighter chief, and left two others injured, David Dutch, 57, and James Copenhaver, 74, reveals the physical scars of violence cannot be condemned strongly enough. It is a grim reminder of the destructive potential of a young mind led astray. Such heinous deeds must be unequivocally denounced, for they threaten the very fabric of our society, sowing fear and deepening the wounds of violence that too often scar our communities. However, as we reflect on this tragedy, it is crucial to approach the situation with empathy and a commitment to understanding. To condemn without understanding is to miss the opportunity for growth and healing. We must hold a mirror up to ourselves, our families, and our society, asking how a promising young man who once excelled in academics and had a passion for history could fall into such darkness. The story of Thomas Crooks is not just about a young man's descent into violence. It is a cautionary tale of societal and familial failures. Crooks was not a criminal by nature. He was an academically gifted student, yet he was also a loner, frequently bullied, and possibly struggling with deep identity issues. These are not just details. They are warning signs that something was amiss, signals that went unheeded by those around him. Unfortunately, we celebrate our victories over him and his likes, watching the supposed future leaders rot in prison, and some die like chickens right before our eyes. Yet we go to bed at night and can sleep, and we call that success? Have we considered the negative impacts of our greed and egos on our youths? Unfortunately, in our society today, the truth is now dependent on who the more eloquent liar is. What a shame. The institutions we depend on to guide and protect us have descended into weapons of victimization. The youth see the adults, who should have been role models, lie between their teeth just for the sake of power and control. What an influence. What type of seeds are we sowing? As a society, we bear some responsibility for these failings. When we neglect the mental and emotional well-being of our youth, we create the conditions for despair and radicalization to take root. We must critically evaluate how and where we have erred, recognizing that the isolation and neglect of individuals like Crooks can lead to catastrophic outcomes. This tragedy underscores the importance of checking in on one another, allowing people to express themselves, and listening with an open heart. When we admonish, it must be done with lavished charity, not judgment, so those struggling do not feel further alienated. Encouraging open dialogue and providing support can prevent such tragedies by addressing the root causes of isolation and despair before they manifest in violence. To move forward, we must focus on several key areas. Mental health support. We need to prioritize mental health services in schools and communities, ensuring that students who struggle with bullying, isolation, or identity issues receive the help they need. Positive role models and mentorship. Connecting at-risk youth with positive role models can give them the guidance and support they need to navigate life's challenges and develop a strong sense of purpose. Community engagement. Involving young people in community service and civic activities can foster a sense of belonging and responsibility, reducing feelings of alienation. Education and awareness. Schools should educate students about the dangers of radicalization and extremism, promoting tolerance and critical thinking to help them resist harmful ideologies. Parental and societal involvement. Parents and society must remain vigilant, fostering open communication and being attentive to changes in behavior that could signal deeper issues. The tragedy involving Thomas Crooks is a stark reminder that we cannot afford to be complacent. We must proactively create a more inclusive and supportive society, where every young person feels seen, heard, and valued. Only through empathy, understanding, and a commitment to the well-being of all can we prevent such tragedies in the future and build a society where peace and harmony prevail. May God bless everyone.